Hello friends, in this session today, the very first technical session of our classes, let's understand the concept of database. Let's understand how to define database and how to work with data storage activities. Yes, here it is. In our earlier classes, the introduction activity, the introduction class, earlier class we learned about what is database, what is DBMS, and what is SQL Server with advantages, the theoretical definitions we learned. Versions of SQL Server like 20, 16, 17, 19, etc. and editions of SQL Server like data center, evaluation, enterprise, etc. We learned about how to install SQL Server, mainly to store data, how to install SSMS tool to operate on this server, and how to test connections from server or how to test connections to server using SSMS tool or from SSMS tool, SQL Server Management Studio tool. This is the actual agenda from the previous class, the very first demo or introduction installation class. Today, let's understand 5 important things. How to create databases, how to create tables, how to store data into tables, and how to report. So it's all about database. Remember the new technical terms: database, tables, data, and verify or report it. It's a basic black and white reporting. So here we go. Our requirement today, our agenda today, we'll understand about database, tables, and something called data. Say horizontal rows, vertical columns. Each horizontal line is called a row. These lines, horizontal lines, are called rows. ROWS, rows. And the vertical items are called columns. Each vertical item pertains to a field. Those are called columns. Just like Excel rows and columns, we have database table, row, and column. Let's understand carefully the main agenda for today's class. Let's understand about SQL concepts, basic SQL concepts we learned. Then start with examples, creating database, creating table, inserting data, verifying, and limitations with user interface. Then we'll slowly step into SQL concepts. We'll start working with how to create new databases, connections, and create table through SQL. Insert some sample data, finally say query or verify the sample data. Total of 2 different items, GUI and script. 15 different points we need to learn. Let's get started now. SQL to start with. Structured query language. A platform to communicate with any database, mainly for development, testing, and management activities. TSQL, Transact SQL. A type of SQL exclusively used for communicating with databases stored in Microsoft SQL Server. I repeat, SQL to talk to any database. If the database sits inside Microsoft SQL Server, we use one language called Transact SQL. If same database sits in Oracle Database Management System, Oracle software, there comes PLSQL, Programming Language SQL. This way there are hundreds and hundreds of variants, brandings of SQL. We'll start with SQL first, then we'll proceed slowly with Microsoft brand, Microsoft's variant of SQL called Transact SQL. Let's go with SQL first, then slowly step into Transact SQL for development or audit or monitoring or querying, etc. as per our course plan. Let's get started with SQL, the base activity. Types of SQL statements. Assume a green glass and pour some water into it. Assume a green glass, I mean to say a container. Pour some water, I mean to say some content. Yes, the green glass. To play with the structure, to play with the container, we have DDL, data definition language statements. DDL stands for data definition language. It refers to the structure or the container. We have something called create to define new database and tables. Alter to modify the structure of existing database and tables. Like for example, increasing size of the database. Or drop to remove existing databases and tables, we have drop statement. So create to define new database and tables. Alter to modify the structure of existing database and tables. Drop to remove existing database and tables. Then we'll slowly proceed to practice Dml operations. It's all about content. We have insert to store data into tables. Update to modify the data. Remember, alter means to modify the structure. Update means to modify the data. Then we'll practice delete to remove existing data from the tables. Once we practice the creation of table, insertion of data, we need to have select to verify or report data from table, plus additionally create table and insert data. We'll do it carefully step by step. Let's understand now how to work with, let's understand carefully how to work with database creation. Okay, how to work with database creation first. Then we'll understand how to go for table creation, and then we'll go for select to report data. Let's observe carefully, and later classes we go for other SQL commands like something called TCL, DCL, etc. To start with, let's understand the first and foremost thing, how to connect to the previously installed SQL Server. In our demo class, I mean the introduction class, we understood how to install the software. Say you installed it. Say you installed it. Now what next? Connect. Go to Windows app, search and type SSMS. Go to Windows app, search, type SSMS, this one. Click on this Management Studio app, maybe 2016 or 17 or 19, any version of your choice. Just launch the tool. Okay, so here it is. Let's wait for the tool to be launched. Remember once again what we did. Yes, here we go. Go to search, type there SSMS. Once you type SSMS, click. Then once you type SSMS and click it, then we get a screen like this. Server type should be database engine for OLTP. Server name, drop down, see there carefully, drop down, browse for more. drop down browse for more, database engine, select the required server and OK. Select required server and click OK. I repeat, server type database engine. Server name, drop down, browse for more, expand database engine, select required server and OK. Authentication should be Windows. Okay, for now it's Windows, say connect. You will be able to download the notes below the video, whatever notes you are seeing on the screen. Whatever notes you are seeing on the screen, you have it down this video, you can download it. Just below, down the video, just download it. Once we connect, now how to create new database? Right click databases folder, new database. Here we go. Yes, it's a brand new server. Any version, same process. We can create new databases. Before that, remember, a set of 5 system databases are auto installed. Out of 5, 1 is hidden resource database. You see remaining 4: master, model, MSDB, TempDB. Resource database is hidden anyway. Now, here we go. What's our requirement? Yeah, we have separate topic for system databases architecture. For now, let's understand. Right click new database. Right click new database, this one. Once you right click new database, then we get one form like this. One form, a nice colorful form. Give some name. I'll say retail database. Click enter. One database would be created. I repeat, right click new database. Right click new database. For example, I'll say product database. Any name, uppercase, lowercase, anything is fine. 2 files will be auto created. We have data file, log file. Here we go. Data file to store actual data content. Log file is like a CC camera, audit, monitoring activity. So 2 files, data file, log file, and we see the default installation path. We can modify the path. For now, leave it as it is. Click OK. So 2 files are created for this database. I repeat, right click new database. I said uppercase, lowercase, anything is fine. Give some database name and carefully click OK. Go with the default options for now. No worries about other options. We'll do them one by one. Once your database is created, back to our notes, what we did, right click databases folder, new database. Specify a database name, click OK. 2 files are auto created. Where? In your computer installation location. What are those 2 files? Data file, rows data file. Data file is also called rows data file to store actual data. File type is primary, means MDF, extension MDF, remember. Next, here we go. Once you have this file MDF, what's the purpose? Yes, the main purpose to store the table data, actual data. Then we have other item, log. Say suddenly some data goes missing, or you would like to track what are the operations for last 1 hour, or someone deleted the data by mistake and you wanted to verify who did that. These kind of activities can be tracked, monitored from the camera room log file, also called T-log, transaction log file, to monitor the database and operations like who created the table, who inserted data, etc. File type LDF, log data file. Just like in MS Office, I'll just put this way. In MS Office, you already have this point here actually. MS Office has Excel file has Excel sheets, right? File, then sheet, then data, isn't it? Same way. Let's scroll down. Here we have MS Office, for example, Excel file to Excel sheet to actual data. So actual data is stored here. Same way SQL Server. Database, we are going to create table, the next item. Table is going to store actual data. But where is this data? In your data file, remember. Easy comparison. So database, table, actual data. How to work with this table? Let's see now. How to create new table in the above database. Okay, a simple straightforward process. Let's see. To create table, you got the database ready. Now to create table, what we do? Go to SSMS tool, expand the above created database, previously created database. Go to tables folder, right click new table. Remember, tables folder, right click new table, we get one form. Here it is. Go to database, whatever database you created yesterday, any one database you take, whatever database you created earlier, the previous example, right click new table. See here, right click new table. Once we create new table, then product ID, enter. Product ID, enter. Same way, see here, product name, it enter. Enter. Same way, product price. Product price. ID, name, price, right click. Okay, right click on top, save table. Right click on top, save table. TBL sales like this. Right click top, save table. Enter the name of the table, click OK like this. Observe carefully now. What we did? Right click new table. For example, column 1, column 2, column 3, so on. Top, right click, save table. I'll say, for example, table name. Give some name. Any name is fine. Any name is okay. Click OK. Now, how do you verify? Yes, we just right click new table, provided the table name. New table, provide the table name with columns, ID, name and price. Right click top, yellow ribbon, save. Click save, provide the table name. Now, how to verify above created table in the database? Yes, here we go. From SSMS server database, tables folder, right click and refresh. Here it is. Right click, refresh. See here. right click tables, refresh. Then we get one set of tables like this. For time being, you ignore DBO, ignore data types and null values and other things. For now, you have table name, column names. That's it for now. We'll go slowly step by step. So what we did so far, we got the server ready, database ready, table ready, inside table, columns are also ready. Where are these columns? Here. We got ID, name and price like this. Now the next step, remember to verify these tables, what we did, right click, refresh. Back to notes, item number 5. After you refresh, now item number 5, how to insert or store data into about table. Here it is. To insert or store data into about table, right click table, edit top, say 200 rows. Edit top 200 rows. Here we go. Right click table, edit top 200 rows. Once you right click table, edit top 200 rows, then we see here ID and name and price. Say ID, name, say for example uppercase or lowercase, anything is fine. Price, out. Say for example 1002, chains, and give some value. You see small red color circle, that is unsaved data, not committed, not saved. It is not stored to the table permanently. How to do that? Come out of the row. For example, like this. ID, name, price, come out. For example, say ID 1004, product. I'll say for example, wallets. Very important. We need to make sure we need to come out of the row. Yes, I don't know the price. I just come out. Null means undefined. Null means undefined value. So here you go. Right click table, edit top 200 rows. Fill the column values just like Excel. Each row is auto saved once we move the mouse out of the row. Default value for every cell is null value. Null means undefined or unknown value. You suddenly ask my weight. I don't know. It is called null value. So note, null is different. 0 is different. Empty space is different. Null, 0 and empty space. Now how to report data from about table? Yes, right click table, select top 1000 rows. See here. We stored the data. Fine. Now how to report? Right click table, select top 1000 rows. Here you go. Right click table, select top 1000 rows like this. Right click table, select top 1000 rows like this. And we are able to verify the data like this. Here it is. I repeat, right click, select top 1000 rows. So first 200 rows edit, now 1000 rows report. Main problem with user interface, 200 rows only we can edit. Edit means insert, update, delete. Or only 1000 rows we can report. We can make them visible to the end user. To address these problems, To address these problems, we have a nice solution, SQL. Right click server, new query. Remember, right click table edit, right click table select. To address these limited rows, go for right click new query. Then we get one query window called session. Here it is. Limitations with user interface. Only 200 rows can be edited at a time. Only 1000 rows can be reported at a time. So to address these limitations, we have the concept of SQL. Remember, we have the concept of SQL mainly to address these limitations. Let's understand now how to work with the concept of SQL. Okay, so here it is. What we did, we simply went to SSMS, right click server, new query. We see a query window called session. Type the SQL commands and execute. Type highlight or select. Highlight or select the SQL commands and click execute. Either we can execute one statement at a time. Okay, so here it is, one statement at a time, or execute multiple statements at once. Let's understand how to do this activity. Right click a particular server, new query. Yes, your server is ready. Inside server, you got a new query window called session. It's ready. Now every query, whenever I right click say new query, one number is coming up on top, 53, 59, etc. See here. That is called session ID. Session ID. Now our requirement. What's our requirement? Yes, you right click server, new query. Now we need to start writing our SQL commands. Type or copy paste the below command. Select the command, execute. Create database name. Select and click execute. Observe carefully. Just click execute. Select, click execute. Same way, once we create database, then how to connect to above database using SQL? Type or copy paste the below command. Highlight and execute. For example, use database name. Here it is, use database name like this. Yes, a server can have multiple databases. To verify this recently created database, right click refresh. We'll see the database here. Now use database, generally in left side, object explorer tool, left side we say expand. That is actually technically it's connecting to the database. If I don't have permissions, I cannot expand, remember. Of course, right now we are administrator. Remember, we said add current user as administrator during installation. At the time of installing SQL Server, we clicked on add current user as administrator. So we are able to enjoy the permissions. Just like plus symbol on the left side, you say use database name. That currently connected database we can verify on the left side as well as on the right side. Top left or bottom right. So we got the database ready. Now our next step, you create database, you connect database, then here we go. How to create table inside above database. Yes, using SQL, let's understand how to create the table. Syntax, nothing but the format. Create table, table name within a pair of parenthesis brackets. First column name, its data type. Second column name, data type. Third column name, data type, so on. Maximum up to 1023 columns. So create table, table name with first column, second column, third column, so on up to 1023 columns. Here comes the concept of data type to specify the type of value. Example, digits, alphabets, date, etc. There is a dedicated chapter exclusively for data types, just in case wanted to mention few basic data types today in the first version of SQL Basics and the next version of SQL Basics, next chapter. Let's take few basics of data types. To start with, let's have integer data type. While creating a table, while creating the table, we have to mention the table name. Within a pair of parenthesis brackets, we have to mention one or more columns. See here, ID integer to store digits 0, -9, 99, etc. Product name, say char 30. This column stores up to 30 digits, alphabets and symbols. Here I said 30 means up to 30 limit, max limit. We can also make it 3000, it works. Up to 3000 limit. For now, we'll make it 30 characters, say 30 alphabets or symbols or digits. 30 is the limit. Now, select all below 5 lines together, then click execute. Here it is. Select all 5 lines carefully. Select, go to your SSMS, and here I'll select and execute. What we are doing? We are creating a table. Server ready, database ready, right click tables, refresh, your table is also ready. What is there inside the table? Columns, ID, integer or int, both are same, okay, integer or int. Then name, I say for now character. Character means to store digits, symbols and alphabets. Yes, we created the database, connected, we created the table. Now what next? Store data. Remember, few minutes back we learnt about something called create database or create statement. Now it's time for us to step into insert. We'll take alter, drop and other things very next chapter, basics version 2. For now, you create database, create table, now insert data. How to insert data? Here it is, 2 styles. How to store data into a table? There are 2 styles. Either of these 2 styles, one is with into, other one without into. Technically both are same. Here rule for inserts. Single quotes mandatory for alphabets and symbols. Caps, chains, those are alphabets. Single quotes mandatory. Insert into table name values. Insert into table name values. Then here also insert without any table values. Let's see. Insert into table name values. For example, product ID, product name. Without into also we can have values. Technically both are same. Now remember, caps and chains, they are in single quote, right? For alphabets and symbols, single quotes are mandatory. Now I'll select first line only. See there, I'll select first line only. Carefully go to our Management Studio SSMS session window and then select execute. This is one style. Other one, we can directly insert the data. Say insert without any into table name. Either you copy paste or type it. Anything is fine. Say for example 1002 comma chains. Semicolon optional. Semicolon optional. For example gloves. With semicolon, without semicolon, anything is fine, no problem. It's up to you. It's completely optional. Without any semicolon is also fine. So what we did so far, we created database, created table inside the database. We connect with the database and create table, insert data, finally select. Select from table name. Here we go. Select from table. Semicolon optional. Here you see star, right? Star means to report all columns. Yes, if a table has more number of columns, later examples, you don't really want to have all columns in the output, you can restrict only few columns. By default, asterisk star means all columns, like this. Next. With this information, now our next step. Yes, what we did so far, we created database, connect to the database. Create table, insert data and select. Okay, we are ready. Now our next step. Yes, we are able to get the data. Now last two steps, how to save or store above SQL query in your computer, within your computer for future use. You would like to reuse it next classes. How to save it locally. Here it is. Simple, just like storing a Word document, same thing. File, save, file and save. This one. Save SQL query and select the required query here. I'll say for example SQL basic queries view 1, version 1, something like this. Extension would be .sql. You save it. What I did, file, save, this one. You can save as to a different location of your choice. Save as to your network or to a E drive, D drive, etc. Click save. Something like this. I'll simply click SQL basic to a particular session window. Click save this way. Once you save it, now later point of time, say you would like to use it. Say assume for example, later point of time, say you connect to your server. You would like to see what you did in the past. You would like to see the queries from the previous examples. Yes, file, earlier save, now open file. File, open file, select the required file, this one. Select required file, open, here it is. I repeat, file, open file, select required file, open in this way. Now we are able to get back the query. From here, you may just cross check what you did earlier. Remember, in a server, database names should be unique. What does it mean? If you try to create once again, if you try to execute once again, it gives you error. Already exist. Choose a different name. So you have to rename it. First change the name. Then you can happily continue with new database. I mean, executing the same create statement more than once result in duplicate. So please be extra careful. You create table once, happy. If you try to create the same table once again, you get error. In such a case, you change the table name, execute. Same way, insert data. See here something like this. Say insert into table name values in this way. Finally select. So insert into table name values like this. See here now. Either one statement at a time or multiple statements. Finally select. This hyphen means comment. Remember, hyphen means comment. With this information, we learned basic information, basic examples on database creation, table creation, data insertion, and select to verify. You'll practice these items carefully so that we are ready for our next items. The next items would be an extension of the current examples. We need to learn about the concept of the DML, DDL. We need to concentrate on, of course, we'll revise the concept of create database. Then we need to concentrate on alter, drop, update, delete, etc. Something else called truncate and so on. For now, you'll practice these basic items carefully so that we are ready for our next example on next level SQL activities. I request you to complete all practice items on time throughout the course. And please do use me for your doubts and clarifications. So here is my contact number. In case of any further questions or doubts, clarifications, please admit your contacts and you can ping me on WhatsApp. In case of any trouble in practicing any items, please do reach me. The same number is included at the end of your class notes, just in case. Thank you very much. Have a nice time. Thank you once again. Meet you in the next class. Thank you.